Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
How you doing, everybody? Monday evening edition of Dennis Phillips Live. We are live on the spot. Tampa Bay. Who's over there talking? Is that a sneeze? Stokes like, it's not me. People, this is kind of like the lunch hour time. And, so a couple of things here. Pete is always over there editing, and he's sneezing all the time. So I don't know if he's got allergies to the building or what. But normally when I'm about to do my hits at 7 o'clock which we have a newscast at 7, I'll just be around, how you doing, everybody? Achoo! Every single time. So Pete's got allergies. Stokes is over here talking, hey, Dennis, how's your weekend? I'm like, hey, it was good. I'm on TV in like 10 seconds. Oh, man, my bad. So it's just kind of it's the time, Wendy's under dinner break, and we're just kind of hanging out here. So you and me and folks on social and folks on, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and the Spot 66.1, which you may not have heard this, but it is the official broadcast home of the Tampa Bay Lightning. In fact, I got a little story about that. It's made me laugh. So when DPL is not on TV on the weekdays, it's the overwhelming majority of the time is either I'm off and it would be ABL, Allie Blake Live, or SRL, Shay Ryan Live, or JAL, Jason Adams Live, or GDL, Greg D Live, or the Tampa Bay Lightning are on. So the Lightning had a broadcast on Saturday, and it's run by our group that owns this company, and they do the sports stuff. So I get a text from my general manager. I'm at Disney over the weekend, and I get it, and I'm 24/7. I am always available on my phone 24/7. Anybody who knows me knows I don't sleep, especially during hurricane season, and I'm happy to answer text. So I get a message from my general manager saying, hey, the people want to know whether or not it's going to rain at the Lightning game on Saturday night at 7:30. I'm like, sure. We have the technology. We have the capability, no matter where we are, to do updates. I mean, I'm doing updates from the firework display and whatnot. It's because what we do. So I'm like, okay, let me look in. So I'm like, look at everything. And all of a sudden, no, it's not going to rain. It's not going to rain. So I text my boss, who then lets the people know who asked her, Dennis says it's not going to rain. And their response is, well, I don't know. Weather.com says it might rain. So if I had my ban button with me right then and there. So I get an email today, actually. We'll get to weather in just a minute. I get an email today, and it's like, hey, by the way, so, we're doing a lot of the, because what they're doing, which is really cool, they're doing like pregame stuff from Thunder Alley. they need to know whether or not it's going to rain or not. Of course, my suggestion would be is to ask me, and then don't just drop the, yeah, but weather.com says this. By the way, it didn't rain. So just throwing it out there, it did not rain, and they do have my phone number now, so, so I don't know if they're going to want to call me now, but we are there for y'all 24/7, whether or not it's on the spot, which if you're watching right now on Spectrum 17, Frontier 23, YouTube TV, all the other spots. We talk about weather in addition to other stuff. And y'all know we do go down other roads quite often. But behind me right there, you got Imelda. And obviously the reason we are not jumping in like, okay, we got to talk about this is because we could tell 3 or 4 days ago that this was going to take a path of least resistance and follow in the tracks of Humberto. And boy, are the Carolinas happy that that is indeed the case. Because, I mean, look, it would not have been a monster storm. But look, let me tell you, the mountains of North Carolina and South Carolina, they were every bit as devastated as our area was with Helene and the rain with Helene, and in some cases, even worse than what we had. If you all remember, I mean, there were cities that were literally floating down a river of water last year. So the Carolinas don't need any more of that rain. We don't need any more of that rain. And right now, with Imelda, we ain't going to get any more of that rain. I mean, you can see behind me, at this point in time, it is, well, forget at this point in time, it's not going to be a threat for the U.S., which does make me laugh because, I posted a little something on Facebook today and I showed the giant fan and I made a little weather manipulation joke saying, hey, look, weather manipulation for the win. I was going to do FTW, which is what you're supposed to do, but I knew some people might not be. FTW, Florida Television, it means for the win. So I just spelled out for the win, making it easier. And of course, you get people saying, please drop this. It's not coming here. Well, duh. If you follow our posts, you know that it's not coming here. Just try to throw a little bit of something in it, a little bit of entertainment value because, I mean, let's be honest. When you're doing the weather most of the time, it's the weather, right? You get to throw DPL. What I love about it, you get to throw in a little bit of fun. You get all this interaction with y'all here because we've got thousands of people watching on Facebook and Insta. And I'll say it again: if you're watching on TV, thumbs up, awesome. We love y'all watching on TV, and it's the best of both worlds because you get to see on a bigger screen when I eventually do show weather graphics, which I will, and then you can follow along the comments because. And Denise just hit the nail on the head. We talk about weather eventually, and that is the case. But at this point in time, look, we can show you real clearly that from the Hurricane Center, we have got, no, looks like I'm not going to show you that because somebody switched the monitor and it's not showing up. So here, I'm going to be putting out an SOS right now to our engineering staff to come in and find out why this monitor is not being seen on this monitor right here. You know what? I'm going to do a reboot because reboots can sometimes cure everything. But while I can show you what's going on this. So there's a look at what's happening. Now, the rain that you see out there, that is indirectly related to, well, I mean, indirectly or directly, I don't know. I mean, this is coming in from the northeast from Imelda. And while there is some rip current issues going on the East Coast, there's some breezy weather. But overall, it isn't particularly bad. Oh, boy, and I'm getting response. I'm looking down at my comments here, and I'm saying, Edward needs to be banned. So, and Todd's yelling break. So, yeah, you know what? That is a good point. All right, so let's just go ahead. I think the reboot might even fix it. Looks like it could fix this. All right, so here's what we're going to do, all right? I'm going to ice my hand after bashing that ban button because now it really hurts. And we got a spanner. Don't break the button. And Mike Bright is here, Cruise Mike. So, yeah, so we're going to take a 90-second break. I'm going to reboot this computer. And hopefully we can, and then we'll talk topics because we do have a lot to talk about, including long range that some of the models continue to hint that there's more out there for the month of October. But right now, I'll use the Q word. It's quiet in the Gulf and the Caribbean. Let's hope it stays that way. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Okay, what the heck is going on with this computer? Why is it not visible? Let's see. I think a reboot. You guys ever see the movie Free Guy? It's still not working. So Free Guy was a very funny movie, and at one point in the movie, the guy goes, reboot, reboot, and it comes to mind, yeah, this ain't working. So I don't know if we have anyone in earshot of engineering right now, and if we don't, that's kind of tragic because this is just not working. So this is not being seen on here. So don't know if it's a setting, but somebody messed with it over the weekend or on Friday, and it's no longer to be seen. But that's okay, because we are on our break right now. So look, see, here, I'll show you. So by the way, Jason Adams is not the weather Jason Adams. Jason Adams news, engineering. JC, watch what happens. When I hit that computer, look what happens. People see a screensaver. He's like, oh, I get it. All right, see, Jason Adams usually knows these things because he is a man of many talents. How much time we got? 15 seconds left. Are you doing a reboot?
No, I'm going to take a look.
It's going to look at something else. All right. So we're back in 10 seconds. Isn't there a hurricane every 3 years in Florida? Liliana. Nah, I don't think so, Liliana. It's more often than that. We're back in 3, 2. How you doing, everybody watching on broadcast television? By the way, what's going on in the football game? I know the Jets were taking on the Finns. Kelly's like, good, pretty screensaver. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump back into where we were and give you kind of an update of what's happening. I take that back. Before we do that, let's look at some comments. We have Grand Junction, Colorado here. Nice to see you. Jessica's holding out for her future mid-October tropical report. You know what, Jessica? You and me both. And I was all ready to show you all that, and then all of a sudden I look over at it, and this computer is not talking to that computer, and that. It was when I left on Thursday, but you never know what happens on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Power hits happen, and things get messed up, but we do fortunately have this monitor right here, so we can show you what's happening here. Tina in Oldsmar, how you doing? So Amy's asking, are there really 86-foot waves out there? You know what? I think that's worth talking about. Because with one of the last storms recently, some of the models were coming out with 100-foot waves. And you know as well as I do, when they start seeing something like that, the media is going to pick up on it. Social media is going to pick up on it. Let me give you a little something. Little something on here that I've noticed. Do you want to know how you can tell whether or not people out there are monetizing social? There's ways to tell different things, but there's a little something going on that says hashtag FB lifestyle. I've noticed it. And Facebook is offering, and I've noticed some of the weather folk are putting the hashtag FB lifestyle. It's something that's, I think, going on with Facebook. And apparently it's a bonus to be offered, I think, to some folks. And if you see that, then you will notice that they are probably monetizing it. So if there are some sites or some places out there that you're like, I don't know if I trust this guy, you look at that little header. Sometimes that's an indication, at the very least, that it is not just doing what they're doing for goodwill, but there's some monetization going. I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. I'm just saying that's a little something that I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, and I kind of did a Google search on it, and I saw that that's actually what's happening. So if you see that, I'm getting a call from a construction company, and I don't even know why, but nevertheless, I digress. Anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about, full screen graphics here, and talk about the tropics while we're still trying to figure out why these computers are not talking to each other. I think it's a mirror issue. So how do you fix it?
You got to go into the settings.
Well, you into this?
Yeah.
You come right in. Jason Adams, engineering. Yeah, you're not on. Even if you were. Here, I'm going to show you. Jason Adams is engineering extraordinaire who is here. See, here's our setup. This is my computer to get us on broadcast and other stuff. This is the computer where I see all your comments. This is Jason Adams, who you have seen many times before, because when there's a last-second issue, he runs out like Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man, and fixes it every single time. And right now, there is something going on with this one.
What's going on to that screen? I can't see if you have that up.
Well, you would see it right there. You would see it right there.
Okay, so
There you go. Oh, okay. So anyway, he can look at that while we're doing this. Let's go ahead and take our graphics full. Hold on, and I will take that while you look at that. There you go. All right, we got this. We got this. Temperatures right now mostly in the low to mid 80s, although some upper 70s across Polk County. How does this happen, by the way?
probably a reboot, did it?
Reboot. It was a reboot, to quote the movie Free Guy, which I love that movie. I love. You ever seen that movie?
It's a good movie.
Free Guy is a funny movie.
Okay, I think you're good now.
We fixed it?
Yep.
Hold on. Ah, Jason Adams. See, that's all, everybody, a round of applause for Jason Adams. Extraordinary work. See, there you go. So and that will allow me in the break to call up the other graphics that I had, but let's continue to go back to where we were. There is a look at temperatures. Highs today, we actually still hit the lower 90s in Tampa. And as we look at the current temperature, we've had some beautiful sunsets lately. 86 degrees and partly cloudy skies. I'm going to call this up, and this might just work. Restore window. I don't know. Anyway, 86 the current temp right now. Beautiful. Beautiful. Another gorgeous, although, boy, the days are getting shorter, aren't they? Highs today hit 92 degrees. 89 is average. The morning low dropped down to 76. 74 is the average. You can see that moisture coming in from the northeast to southwest. And it continues with overnight, partly cloudy. Over on the East Coast, there's going to be some squall. What it'll be is like a 5 or a 10 minute heavy tropical downpour. Very little lightning, by the way, with tropical stuff. Usually it's just some heavy downpours. And then notice they're not going to make it into our area because the system, Imelda, is moving away. Now, there might still be a little bit of afternoon showers or early evening just because of the heating of the day and some moisture out there. But overall, the bulk of it is going to be off to the east. But notice, later Wednesday into Thursday, another front comes in this way. Beth from the Chapel. How you doing, Beth Ann? So there's a look at Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday and Friday, rain chances start to bump up significantly as a front kind of stalls out very close and keeps up our rain chances as clouds come in and bring down the afternoon highs. All right, there it is, Imelda. But by the way, let's see if the new numbers are coming out yet. 8 o'clock yet? Nope, still not. By the way, I will now show you the other map that I was going to show you before because Jason Adams did fix it, and there it is. I have to open up about 15 other tabs shortly. But there is a look at Imelda and Humberto, very close to each other. There's the satellite, and overall, as we've been saying, I'm going to be calling these maps up as we go here so I can kind of go back and forth. But the forecast starting this past weekend really changed. And when it did, the spaghetti models went from a landfalling hurricane from the Carolinas to out to sea. Now, unfortunately, this is going to get pretty close to Bermuda. There's a look at the latest satellite. And again, yeah, I mean, this is going to be an issue. Look, I'm going to show you the ultimate track. Here it is. Now, look at where Bermuda is in that line. Extremely close to where the track is going to be. I mean, we're talking maybe within 15, 20 miles. And if that's the case, they're definitely going to be they're going to have some issues out of this thing. You know, probably Cat 1. But potentially even a little bit stronger. But as we call up some of the ensemble runs, as we see here, as I'm kind of showing as we go here, a beautifully clustered area from Imelda and with Humberto, right? And you look at that and they're all moving away. But here is the thing that I will tell you I am really surprised about. Look at the Gulf and look at the Caribbean through mid-October. The next 15 days, the Euro AI keeps it quiet. And look at the European, not just the AI. it keeps it quiet. So in spite of a La Nina, in spite of ridiculously warm water, in spite of the CAG, Central American Gyre, in spite of all of those things, we are not seeing development in areas that we would expect to see development. All the action has been in the Pacific or in the Atlantic from the Bahamas down to the islands, and that is where it's going to continue. But there are other models. There's other things to look at. We're going to take a closer look coming up in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Okay. So here we go. I've got to keep calling up other graphics. Here, you guys can help me. All right, so let's go ahead and call up, there's the spaghetti. Let's go ahead and call up the GFS. So here, I had all these preset, but when the computers would not talk anymore, then I was no longer able to use them. I've got to use 12Z instead, and here's the GFS. And the GFS again. I mean, there's a couple things out there, but not much, right? Now, we also want to call up the US. This is what I do on a daily basis, by the way, when I'm calling up all these maps for y'all. Okay, add. That's 18Z, but that's okay. And a lot of nothing. And we'll call up one more before we're out of the break. Let's go ahead and call up this and this and this. Hurry, hurry, hurry. We're back in 7 seconds. 16, add, go. And we are back. Dennis Phillips Live. See, it's been here the entire time. Everything has just been working swimmingly this entire time. So I've not even, the Villages, how you doing, Joan? Good to see you. James Kyles, James is like, phone a friend. Look, everything's good. We have no problems. Here is a look at the euro, all right? Here are the operational runs. Now, you guys have learned this over the last couple months. I know you have. But these are the ensembles. These are what we like to look at when we're over 7 days out because it gives you more of a broad brush view about what's happening as opposed to an individual run, which is like this. This is the deterministic view. This is a single run by these models. Now, when you're 4 or 5 days out or less, the operational runs are probably okay to look at. But when you're more than a week out, the ensembles are absolutely the way to go. The ensemble for the Euro AI shows nothing. Let's go ahead and call up the Google update as well. The deep, what's it called? Where is it? It's on here somewhere. I remember seeing it recently. Maybe they took it down because it was here yesterday. Oh, here it is, the deep mind. So you look at Imelda, and it goes there. It's always nice to look at that. It did a really nice job. Some of the AIs did a really nice job with this system. Over the previous couple of months, not so much. But when you look at the euro, here you go. This is the operational run, which you are allowed to use. Allowed, you can do what you want to. But you got the little eyes, and you got this guy, and they're going to follow a similar path, and that's going to be toward Bermuda, right? So you got tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Boy, I'm telling you, models did a really nice job. Even a little spin there. You got that little Fujiwara going. You got that little Fujiwara right there. So there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, Wednesday night. Very close to Bermuda. There's Thursday. And then it goes away. Now let's look at the rest of the tropics. Look at the Caribbean and the Gulf. This is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe a little something moving into the islands like by the 10th or the 11th. But that's, again, Yeah, I mean, it is trying to, and then, by the way, that also curves. But I will tell you, historically, that is not something that you really worry about once we hit mid-October. Almost always, the development area is not in the Atlantic, in the tropical Atlantic. It's in the Caribbean and the Gulf. And simply put, it's quiet. There's nothing going on there. So, in a nutshell, we are looking good. It's moving away. Bermuda will have to watch closely. But is it still something that we concern ourselves about as we go into October and November? We'll talk about that, and I'll be back to answer your questions as DPL continues. You know, everything was set up just fine, and then all of a sudden the computers decided to not talk to each other, and then, you know, everything just got all messed up. It's unfortunate. Hey, I'll call that up over here. Wait a minute. Stand by. Let's go ahead and take this one. I'll just let you guys see kind of what I'm doing. And you should be relieved in Daytona. Sue, how you doing? It's not that nothing's going on. It's that I fail to accept that there's not going to be Caribbean development this season. I mean, you guys have heard me use this exact words before. I would be floored if we do not have development in the Caribbean in October and into November. Floored, I say. Floored. All right, and this is the graphic I'm going to show. All right, so we are now in September. Okay, here we go. So we've got 25 seconds left. So anyway, yeah, the computers are talking now, so I guess that's, you know, when, for whatever reason, when I guess somebody does a reboot on this computer. See, and our engineering does like to reboot. They do, because, oh, let's clear the cache out and get this all working. Well, look what happens when you do a reboot. They stop talking. Lesson learned. Okay, in 3, 2. All right, guys, we are back, and I want to show you a little bit about why we still... Imelda, no threat to the U.S. Humberto, no threat to the U.S. Right now, the tropical systems, no threat to the U.S. All right, we are looking good. We need some rain, truth be told. It's been pretty darn dry out there. We need some rain. But when you look at September, you've seen me talk about this so many times, right? You have the number one track is a track that goes offshore, stays offshore, right? And now we are going into October. So let's look at October. And where do you see most of the development? Right there for the month of October. And because we often see fronts coming down in October and into November, when you see that, that would cause a system that starts here to go this way, right? And remember, Wilma, it happened in November, for heaven's sakes. So when you are looking at the month of October, it is still very common to have development here. And where does it usually go? It usually goes into Florida. Now, what about November? Same thing. But notice, while there's fewer of them because the waters are historically cooler, look at the ultimate track. It goes this way. And why would that be? Because cold fronts go farther south. So the track would be more like that. So there it is. So remember, 1921, the last major hurricane to directly hit the Bay Area, as opposed to Milton last year, was October 21st, 1921. We are good right now. We got nothing to worry about. All our Halloween decorations are up and staying up for the time being, but we're going to stay vigilant as always, and we'll be updating as always. Thanks for stopping by, DPL. We continue now on Facebook. That was an insane show. It would have been so much better if the computers wanted to work, but they did not. Oh, my heavens. Okay. So now I can look at comments, because I literally have not even looked at comments. All right, so I see this comment from Conceito. I disagree with that mindset. In my opinion, it is better. Well, first of all, we do this on a nightly basis anyway. This is a weather, well, no, technically it's a religious and an inspirational show. So says cable. But we're going to talk about weather when weather is relevant, but it's my page. Last I checked on my page, I am chief meteorologist at the station, so I'm probably going to skew weather a little bit. I mean, you know me, I'll be talking about everything, doesn't matter what, but we still kind of fall back on weather when there's stuff to talk about. Let's see, is there anything to talk about right now about weather? You know, not talking about fear, we're just talking about weather. Oh yeah, look, what was a Cat 5 hurricane and soon to be Cat 1 hurricane, which is bringing surf and riptides and rain to the east coast of Florida. I don't know. I think that's kind of relevant. Might just be me, but I think it is. So, here is my suggestion. If you think that talking about these things is peddling fear, be gone. Your choice. That is not a bad, talking and discussing is not ban-worthy. Look, we'll talk about stuff and disagree, and that's awesome. I'm totally okay with any of that. I only ban when it's rude or spamming or, you know, talking politics. That's the only time. We want to say, hey, you know, you want to talk about what you think we're doing? More power to you, as long as it stays respectful. And Bridget, that was not a disrespectful comment. It was a wrong comment. She was 100% accurate, but, you know, because we don't deal in fear here, but it's fair to make that statement. So, and that's okay. So, yeah, that is my vice. The soda has definitely been my vice. It has been for a long time. Sean, how you doing, my friend? Here, let's look at, Sean wants to know if there's any 540 lines. Let's see if there's any 540 lines, shall we? Yeah, my sarcasm is very, very easy to understand if you're hearing me talking on this show. But posting is a little bit more tricky. You know, sometimes it's hard to pick up sarcasm when you're reading people's words. All right, let's look for that 540 line. All right, Sean? Here we go. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's the 540 line, the middle of next week, going into Canada. Nothing in the U.S. And remember, the euro has a cold bias, so it would show it probably overly aggressively. Let's go ahead and call up the U.S. as opposed to the tropical one, since we're actually looking for a 540 line here. 540 line is the freezing line, by the way, for folks who don't know. All right. Can't say that yet, Beantown Homes. No way will I say that we've dodged a bullet in the Bay Area yet with 2 more months left in the hurricane season. Will not say that. So far we have. Let's hope it stays that way. But you've heard me. I'm on the record. I truly believe there's a hurricane in the Caribbean or the Gulf in October. And if there isn't, then I would be floored. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Okay. Here we go. So let's look at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A little bit of snow. And there's some snow going down to Colorado. Week from tomorrow. There's your 540 line. Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies in a couple weeks. And it does try to develop that little low a couple weeks out. But remember, it's the operational run, and we don't worry about the operational run that far out. We don't worry anything that far out, but at the end of the day, we will at least glance at what the ensembles are sniffing out. And right now, the Euro AI, nothing for the next 2 weeks. The European, very little for the next 2 weeks. I mean, Nothing to worry about. The GFS. Again, if you want to, I guarantee there'll be one person. Oh, look, there's a Cat 3 coming into Florida. Yes, there is one of the 50 ensemble runs that's doing that. So that would be a 2% chance. So it's not zero, but it still looks pretty good. And most of these blue, people ask what these colors are, by the way. Look up here. Blue, okay, so gray is very little. Green is probably a depression or a weak tropical storm. Blue is a tropical storm or a hurricane, 980 to 999 millibars. Red is 960 to 979. That's definitely more, that's a Cat 1, Cat 2. And then whatever color that is, orangey or something, that's 950. That's a Cat 3 or above. So once you start getting red colors, you're talking a stronger system. So right now, right this minute, there is nothing out there that is going to be bothering the Gulf or the Caribbean over the next 2 weeks, outside of the outliers on the ensembles. All right? Now, Bermuda. Oh, Miami scored a touchdown? How'd they score? Who got it? Let me look, because that's important for my fantasy team. Wait a minute. Who scored it? Come on, I'm not showing it. Who scored? Who scored? It was... Why am I not showing this? Why am I not showing? I know you guys have probably already told me who it is. Why am I not seeing? I don't usually use NFL.com, so I'm unable to see this. Yeah. Oh, Darren Waller's? Boy, that's an interesting thing. Because Darren Waller, first of all, the Jets are very weak against tight ends. And this is Darren Waller's first game back. The Dolphins signed him in the offseason. He's a really good, big tight end, but he's always hurt. And so literally this week is his first week, and go figure, he scores a touchdown. So that's kind of interesting. And that should be somebody, if you are a fantasy football person, Darren Waller is just a nightmare to own. I've owned him several times because he's got all this physical talent, but he's hurt so much. Like for a while, he was just a beast for the Raiders, and then he disappeared. So anyway. All right, how's the weather going to be in Orlando, October 1 to October 4th? Barbie. There will be some scattered showers as a front comes down. Here, let's go ahead and look at that. Let's go ahead and look at the local weather. All right. So, we got to call up the local again because I called up the tropics. 12Z, we'll use the GFS. All right. So there's Tuesday. There's Wednesday. Wednesday looks good. We've got a little bit of moisture coming in from the east. See it? Little frontal boundary just hanging out there. So I think you'll be dodging raindrops Thursday and Friday. I don't think it's definitely not going to be an all-day kind of thing, but look at that little low that the GFS is trying to spin up. Wait a minute, look at that little thing. That's a little tropical depression right there on Saturday. What in the world? Oh, GFS, you so silly. There it is, look at that. I didn't even notice it. Now, I will tell you that when there's a stalled out front with the water temperature, I don't know. I mean, there's a chance. World Series prediction. You know what? It pains me to say this. But the Yankees are playing good baseball right now. It pains me to say it. The Dodgers bullpen is why they are going to falter. Earlier in the year, I predicted most everybody predicted the Dodgers because they have so much talent. Look, their starters have been great, but their bullpen is a nightmare. Nightmare. So, yeah, I kind of like the Yankees. I kind of do. Yeah, you know, I think it's the Phillies and the Yankees. And then at that point, who knows? But the Yankees have been hot. Here's the difference. The Phils have had this locked up for weeks. The Yankees have just been peaking at the right time. Pains me to say that. You have no idea my feelings for the Yankees in general. I grew up an Orioles fan. When Mike Mussina went from Baltimore to the Yankees, it broke my heart, right? And but I think it's going to be in the Phillies and the Yankees. And I would say the Dodgers, but I'm telling you, the Dodgers bullpen's in bad shape. So they're going to need their starters to go 7 or 8 innings. I'm telling you. Okay. And the Guardians have been hot too, Mike. You're right. Their starters have been insanely hot. Like, their starters have been over the top hot. But I don't think they have the offense to keep up. But that's just, I don't know. That's just me. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? Miami just recovered a fumble. Okay. Oh, that was a killer game last night, Maria. That tie, oh, my heavens. That was a nutty game. Yeah, the Packers and the Cowboys, both teams had chances to win. And both teams tried to give it away at the end. It's crazy. Yeah, Yankees and Phillies, boy, I bet Major League Baseball would love that, though. I mean, you've got 2 major city hubs like that. I bet they would. Last year, obviously, Yankees and the Dodgers. I mean, I still think that clearly the Dodgers are the most talented team in the MLB. I mean, offensively, and their starters. But they've, Kershaw's last year now, and Blake Snell, and Ohtani. By the way, if you looked at Ohtani, we're talking baseball now, don't ask me why. If you looked at Ohtani's last 2 starts, like 5 innings, no hits, a couple of times, and then the bullpen came in and gave up 11 billion runs. So I'm telling you, that bullpen is going to be an issue. I really think it is. Yeah, that's unfortunate for the Mets. Didn't even make the playoffs. How crazy is that? All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go eat my dinner. And bottom line, repeat. Imelda moving away, could be Bermuda Wednesday night as a cat too, potentially. Humberto moving away. GFS. I did not see this earlier, I'm going to be honest. A little GFS. Zoop. There's like kind of developing that in the Gulf Saturday. Let's see if the Euro shows this. I don't think it did. And I don't believe it, by the way, for the record. But let's look. Let's just see if the Euro shows anything. I mean, that's GFS. It does have unsettled weather. It doesn't have no, that's GFS again. It keeps showing back and forth. I mean, I'm going to delete this GFS because it keeps popping up there and it's messing with me. All right, here we go. Here's the Euro. I mean, maybe a little something, like a rainmaker, like a little depression, maybe. Maybe. All right, guys. Tomorrow night, we will make sure. Oh, actually, tomorrow night we are not. I don't think we're on TV tomorrow because I think the Lightning game is on. But I'm not sure. Oh, Sean, you had a rough flight? Yeah. No. What I said is the GFS is trying to maybe develop a little depression in the Gulf in the next 3 or 4 days. I'm on the record for saying I think there's a hurricane in the Caribbean into the Gulf late in October into November. I am. I hope I'm wrong. And right now I'm looking wrong because there ain't nothing out there. But I just can't fathom given the way that everything's setting up, that we don't see something develop. I just can't. But I hope, you know, hey, we deserve a nice stretch of nothing to worry about, some nothing burgers after last year. All right, I'm going to go watch football, eat some dinner. We'll be back tomorrow night. Whether we're on TV or not, I can't remember. But if not, we will be on social, as always. And we'll see if anything new pops up with the potential Gulf little system this week, and how Imelda is shaping up for Bermuda. So have a great night, and I will see you on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. I'll see you guys.